It's off of Joe and Jet. And then you got the Human League. I think they had a female singer. You got Quarter Flash. A lot of saxophone songs, bud. What happened? Did you have any friends that were saxophone players? And do you stay in touch and see what'd you do? What happened?
What happened to them?
Every other one of these songs has a
Tony G. He went on to play in bands.
Mark, I like this list a lot. I'm gonna try to look it up.
You know him. Tony. Oh, Tony. The last name.
Oh, are you recording? Right? Oh, Mark does this thing where he'll start recording without telling us. Hey,
Tony G.
We're breaking all the copyright laws, Mark.
I know. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
He's going to edit this version.
I don't think that whoever the state of George Thorogood, I think they'd understand.
Did he go on to
playing bands? Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the official act.
Oh, that's a thing. That's Mark.
Mine is already correct.
That's the sound of Mark's addiction. Hey, this one has Kim Carnes as the number one. No way. But this one has Start Me Up. What gives? Oh, these are pop songs. Well, that's...
Yeah, I did rock songs.
I don't want to do pop. Kim Carnes, though. She was on that Lionel Richie one with the Coolest Night in Rock or whatever. She was more fetching than I recall. Good to know. If you're listening, Kim Carnes. My wife will kill you if you look at me funny, so...
She is a listener.
I'm looking at all the one-hit wonders here. Tommy Two-Tone? Go ahead.
All right. Let's start this since we are already delving into our topic tonight. This is the Ascertainers. I'm Mark, and my partner is Jim.
Jim, but we're not exclusive.
No, we are, I thought.
Well,
how many podcasts are you?
Now that we have a third party here, I'm able to speak freely and defend myself.
I'm Steve, and I identify as Steve.
Hey, that's Steve. Who's Steve, Mark?
Our guest tonight is Steve, my best friend from high school, who taught me everything I know. So... If you hate me,
managed to get this far in life.
If you hate me, blame him. So,
I learned. I thought I knew a lot about Mark, but he has been sandbagging his accomplishments quite nicely. In that, I learned a lot at dinner tonight. Let's just say that. And speaking of dinner, we went to Apple Valley's premier burger, beer, pull tab, popcorn establishment, Newt's. Newt's. Say it again, Newt's.
Great staff, great food. Cold beer. What more do you need?
Listen to this guy.
Wow.
Hey, Mark, maybe you can take a week off. Sit a couple plays out. We'll let Steve take over. In fact, Steve, why don't you sit over there? Mark's got a good chair.
I don't know how to work the buttons.
Look what...
I'll pretend I do.
I think that's something you and Mark have in common, so that's good. Look how I live here. Look, I'm sitting in the same chair as you, this plastic heart. Mark's got his throne over there.
Right.
Which I don't know where that chair's been. I would definitely wash my hands in very hot water after slapping it like that.
And the lighting on that side of the table makes him look 10 years younger.
Is that what it is?
Well, something.
All right. Well, we're coming off the AC/DC episode. Oh, by the way, news promo, which I always interrupt myself during it. Steve had a chance to meet Sarah, and she's a legend. And who else? Corey wasn't there tonight. But there's a new burger of the month, and I am very bullish on this burger. It's called the San Diego Smash, I think. And it's basically a cheeseburger. It's like a California cheeseburger smashed. Double cheeseburger with lettuce, onion, tomato, mayonnaise. It might have been a little something in that mayonnaise. On a brioche bun. Hello.
Was that like an in-out burger?
Never been. Never been. So I'll say yes. It was a burger. It was a burger. Can't go wrong.
Done to perfection.
And you guys had the Hefes, one with, one without meat.
Yes, I had the hockey puck, and
Steve is
I just had the regular
carnivore.
Right, done exactly the way I requested it.
How did you request it?
I said medium rare, just like that.
Wow, so you roll the dice just like Jim.
I do. Yeah.
I go medium. I don't go medium rare. That kind of sketches me.
We're
out
old
a bit.
enough. You don't have to live much
I
longer.
know I've seen people survive mad cow disease. What's all the hype about?
If I could lose 30 pounds in a week, I would. So what do you got to do again? Rare? All right.
And just walk around in a circle.
That's right.
I got that part covered. So, yeah, anyhow.
And we are the Ascertainers. If we didn't say that, we are a music podcast, and we are going to talk about music tonight.
And we're a Newt's joint. Yes. So, I do have another, I have to do another shout out. That's where it was. I have two more things to talk about.
Steve, are we as disjointed as you thought we would be?
This is bad. I was searching all over this piece of paper, but
This is unscripted, unrehearsed.
Yeah, very unscripted. I do have scribbles on a piece of paper.
we prefer raw and authentic
It is definitely raw and authentic,
and horrible. So,
but honest.
Honestly horrible.
I'm living a lie. I can't stand that guy. So anyway. All right. Well, thanks.
Do your shout out.
Thanks for going to Newt's. I'll do my shout out right away. I bought a car, and I bought it at Maury's Mazda. It's a new to me car, and but the salesperson at Maury's Mazda was Griffin, and Griffin S. In case there's more than one Griffin there. He's my first Griffin.
Wow.
And it was a very positive experience. And if you're in the market for a Mazda or another high quality previously owned car like the one I got, which is not a Mazda, but it was a cream puff driven by a lady named Nancy. I learned that when I cleared out her Bluetooth codes. But anyway, thanks, Nats, for running into a bunch of shit with that car.
Did you leave her address in the navigation system?
Oh, I've stopped by a couple times. She's an excellent cook. But anyhow, Griffin, Maury's Mazda, tell him that the Ascertainer sent you. And he'll know what that means because I said, listen to the podcast next week and you'll hear your shout out. So,
Isn't a griffin a mythological dragon or something?
I mean, he was cool. I don't know if I'd go mythological. But
No, that was like a phyla, like biological. That was a group of animals. The griffin.
Was it really?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Peter, Lois, the dog
From
that
Family
could
Guy.
talk. Are they like gargoyles? Is that what you're thinking of?
I am. But I thought a griffin was in comic books.
And by the way, around here, a phyla is like a good bread. So we're not so smart around here, even though, Mark, I learned.
Philo was like I file my taxes.
My accountant Luigi, he phyla. Oh, I apologize to all our Italian immigrants. You're the backbone of this country. Don't come get me. But so, I learned at dinner tonight.
I tried to cut him off once. Can I do it again so he doesn't bring this up?
At Newt's that Mark he's just playing dumb. He was a National Honor Society, runner up? Well, how far are they going?
He was in the society. He was a card-carrying member of the National Honor Society.
But the requirements are pretty low.
No.
I didn't get in. You know why? I could have got in, but I ran cross country and I thought, boy, if I'm in the National Honor Society too, I'll never get chicks. So that's why I kind of just mailed it in.
Yeah, but still, you
I
didn't
mailed it
get
in
him.
that day. You could have got in. I mailed it in starting in the 7th grade. I thought that was a strategic move to only get C's, B's, and underachieve.
I didn't get into my senior year. Steve was in his junior year.
That's true.
So he was.
Well, let's talk about.
Never figure out why.
Check out the big brain on Steve. Over
Yes,
here.
he is a very intelligent person compared to me.
Yeah, but what did he go on to in college? I mean, electrical and engineering.
Yeah, I mean, anybody
Steve,
could do that.
apply yourself. Come on, man. You're a smart kid. Did your buddies talk you into that EE degree? Come on. What was your master's in, by the way?
Biophysical sciences.
See, Steve, you're a follower. Stop, Steve. Be a leader, okay?
That's right.
Join a band. Speaking of bands,
We
Steve
called
is
him
also-
Steve Oppenheimer.
Did you? I don't think that was that even a thing yet? I mean, you guys are older than me. I mean, Steve, did you invent the bomb with those guys?
he was in New Mexico.
I hid under my desk with the rest of the kids during the drill.
He does seem flexible. In fact, you can get up from under the table. I don't think anything bad's going to happen tonight.
No sirens going off right now. Okay.
Oh, but maybe they are. Or there's a cat that needs effing. But anyhow, both of you were in the marching band. Isn't that fun?
Being in the marching band
right now
we're being in a band? Or does that give you negative points?
Well, the word band is in it, so I'd give it to you.
I'm trying to interrupt him to keep him from going down this dark path into my past.
I only got one other thing, and I would think that you would want people to know that you were the homecoming king. Now, truth be told, I'll speak up for myself.
This has been a great episode tonight. Let's just
be careful who you invite.
Yeah.
Who was the other, Mark? Who was the other king? I assume that it was one of those deals. Oh, there was only. Well, congrats! I just put 1 and 2 together. Do you remember the Queen? Were you forced to date that person?
No.
And
Ruth.
And what was her name?
Ruth.
Really? Was she your age? You don't see a lot of Ruths anymore.
We had several in our class.
You know, a lot of Ruths?
Had 2.
That's right.
There's no way. You had 2 Ruths in a class of less than 200 people?
We might have had 3.
That's an unusually high amount
Catholic
of Ruths.
Neighborhood. Ruth featured prominently in the Old Testament.
Maybe they just like chocolate candy with peanuts and caramel. Because when they come out...
What are we going to call this little squabbler?
What are we going to call this?
Baby Ruth.
What are we going to call this baby? Here, I don't know. Hand me something to eat. I got to... Oh, how about Ruth? So lazy. Come on.
You can do better.
Do better. Exactly. I got a brother named Two Dogs Fucking. But anyway, that's a whole other story. We're not a family podcast. If you are with family or named Ruth and possibly, I'm just going to go and take a long shot that you might not be a big swearer.
That's right.
Ruth Gordon, she swore a bit. Remember her? She was in like, wasn't she Throw Mama from the Train? Wasn't she that lady?
Dr. Ruth Westheimer?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was like...
Do you own a vibrator? I mean, she taught a generation how to embrace her sexuality. So Ruth figures prominently in the 60s and 70s.
Well, all right, Ruth.
So
you shut Jim up. That was awesome.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard on these airways.
I don't know why.
No, I have high blood pressure. I think I just exerted myself a little bit. Okay. Actually, it's treated with a big handful of pills I take every morning. I look like an episode of Dragnet, like the caricature of the drug user that they.
Like a pest dispenser.
I got screamers. I got goofballs. I got Reds. Anyhow, all right. Well, so far this episode is hardly fun at all. I like it. Do you want to jump radio game? I know we're going to talk 1981 stuff. We already talked about Homecoming King Mark and Ruth. Can we get Ruth on, you figure?
No. I think we could.
That was super definitive. Is Ruth still with us?
She is.
Well, okay. Well, then let's get her on. We can do it. We can do it remote. I don't think most people named Ruth want to come to this basement. What do you think of the basement, by the way? Are you worried that you might not get out? I'm digging the basement,
but Ruth is very refined. You might have to go up to the first floor.
Okay.
If you want to bring her on. She's not gonna camp down here with you guys.
You don't know who you're talking to when you make a comment like that, because I can make lemonade out of anything. You sure me there. All right, Ruth, we apologize. We'll probably edit all this out. But
I don't think she's a listener, so I think we're safe.
Did you start? Is that live?
That is.
Oh, nice work. Thank you. I don't know if that's something that our guest would want to see, but that's kind of that's the running clock, and we usually do about 3 times that.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. So I say we do a little radio game.
Let's do it.
Did we introduce our topic yet, though?
You did. You did mention it before we went on to the
we can do this the year that Mark and Steve graduated, 1931. And whoops, my pen was running 81. My pen was running out.
Steve is younger than I am, so he's closer to your age.
Mm-hmm. What month were you born, sir?
I am a Leo. I'm August.
August of
63.
3? Oh.
I love the hand signals he was trying to show. It was more confusing than
what? Oh, I was going to say, so my wife is born the same month and year, and her birth date is that. Or is it the same by chance?
Wait, do those fingers again, because no, mine is one day after that.
Pretty close.
That's
All right. Well,
And your social security number?
Well,
yep.
that I can't remember.
The mother's maiden name and just
That's right.
a strand of hair, and we'll be good. Okay, see you later. So we can either do some errors and omissions, or maybe do a couple errors and omissions, because I got plenty, and then do radio game and then more errors and omissions. But we better get humping here, because we got to talk 1881 stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Can I? Before we do that, a friend of mine, Jim S. from the Iron Range, sent me a recipe, or put a recipe on Facebook, and I decided to make it. And I told Mark about it, and it's called meatloaf, mac, and cheese. And when I told Mark about it, he goes, "Who the hell is cheese?" So anyway, Mark's a big meatloaf fan because, do you know why Mark's a big meatloaf fan?
Right. Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
No, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh, you'll have to hum a couple bars.
Well,
Comeback album. It was very
oh
big.
my God.
Oh,
That
really?
Not even close to 81. I didn't realize he had a comeback. I thought he was a one-hit wonder, one-album wonder.
No, that was one that was MTV. I was going to say staple. That's okay. That's safe, isn't it?
The issue with the song is what he won't do, apparently. The won't do that. Mark thinks he knows what it is.
He did an interview, and it said it was about...
He's not going to know what this is. I guarantee. He's a
But you know what?
Pegging.
Okay, I am that ignorant. I was a fan of Ruth Vestheimer, but I did not learn that part.
well.
Describe it to him.
Now I know what he looks like when he lies. No, I'm kidding. Pegging is when well, you tell him.
A female takes advantage of a male
with a artificial male part that might be strapped to that person. Right on them.
I'll do anything for love.
We talk
but
about
I won't do that.
I saw this on a movie with
oh, jeez.
oh, come on. Not that I swear. It
Schindler's
was
Fist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, look at the time.
All right. Do you want to do errors and omissions first, or
I'll do
the
one.
radio game?
I'll do one. We'll do one each, and then we'll do the radio game.
Okay.
I said that Greg Daniels was Mose on The Office, and it's not. But it's a guy named Michael Schur, I think, and he is credited as a co-creator, and he wrote 10 episodes. But that's not many episodes.
No.
But so I really anyone that listens tonight that's a huge Office fan is going to be like screaming at their listening device. So my bad. Sorry.
Cliff and Malcolm sang most of the backup on AC/DC songs.
Really?
Angus did actually sing on a few, but very few. And I did listen to "Ain't No Fun," waiting to be.
I listened to it too. It's
It could have ended
drags
about
out a bit.
2 minutes earlier. It's a great tune.
It's the same beat and riff. There really changes almost none. It speeds up a little at the end, I guess.
But the lyrics, the first part is like 2 minutes of him doing like a Bob Dylan song.
Right.
And then at the end they just like gave up.
Did you catch the part when he goes,
Yeah, I did.
"Hey, my neighbor Harold"?
You ever hear that AC/DC song?
I'm sure I have, but I don't remember.
I never heard it before till he mentioned
It's from
it.
Dirty Deeds. Dirty Deeds, I think, is one of their better albums.
Well,
It's
now
called
I'm
"Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire," and it's 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's Freebird length, but it feels like it's 15 minutes long. It is a long song.
The first 3.5 minutes are awesome. Then it wears on you.
Okay.
You know, a song that I forgot to mention AC/DC wise was "Roller." Rocker, I'm a roller, I'm a right out of controller. Just smart lyrics. That's all they got going there. I'm
Steve,
a wheeler, I'm a
yes.
dealer, I'm a wicked woman stealer.
Do you have a favorite AC/DC song?
Do you have a favorite AC/DC singer?
Original lead singer?
You
Bon
prefer
Scott?
him
Bon
over the guy that took over after Bon Scott
Brian Johnson.
choked on his yak?
Yeah, that's right. And any AC/DC, it's late at night, you drive it and you have to stay awake, just put it on.
So you're
Dirty Deeds done
you
dirt
are
cheap.
not what's the word?
I'm not
when
that picky.
non-committal on the lead singer. You're just like,
I'm not like Bon Scott.
me too. Us too.
Yeah.
Okay, you stay. I got another one of those waters there. I'm worried about your,
I've got it right there.
kidney production if you slam too many bubbly waters.
Buble.
Buble, yes. Let's see. I had one other. It's not so much. Oh, I will say this. Since we're talking AC/DC, it fits in very nicely. Bon Scott was the backup singer in a band called the Valentines.
Yes.
And they have their hit was Buttercup. Why don't you fill me up, Buttercup? And if you look up the video, the Valentines, I think it's just called Buttercup, you will shit yourself when you see Bon Scott from AC/DC in like a red leisure suit just dancing away.
They actually, on the video, yes, and they actually put his name on there. They did the lead singer, and I don't even know who the lead singer was, but Bon Scott.
Featuring Bon Scott from AC/DC.
Yeah. And he was already missing a tooth, if you look at it really closely.
I did see some images of Bon Scott, and he had some choppers only a mother could love, I guess.
He died right after he got the new teeth.
Did anyone try to recycle those with perfectly good teeth on a guy that only used them for drinking booze? I mean, come on.
I think he used them for other things.
No.
Maybe he ripped a bottle cap or two off, before he. I don't think it was like the day after. I think he had them for a little bit. There's some pictures of him.
Like a couple of months, yeah.
Okay.
But it was within a year after he got his new job.
So let that be a lesson to you, people. If you
don't get new teeth,
try to improve your appearance. Don't drink yourself to death in the back of a Volkswagen, okay? Because it can happen.
That's right.
Or don't ride Volkswagens. You're safe.
Or only sit in the front.
That makes sense.
Wow, that's a good point.
That's right.
Yeah, but then your heels will start on fire when they turn the heat on. Anyway, I'd rather go in the back seat. That's just me. All right, radio game.
I want to bring up one more thing before we go on.
Okay.
Because we brought it up earlier. Martin Mull passed away.
What? When?
Last week, I believe.
Do you remember Martin Mull?
No. Well,
do you remember Mary Hartman?
Oh, the movie.
No, the television show.
No.
And then Fernwood Tonight.
I don't.
Oh. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. On Fernwood Tonight, wasn't that like a talk show?
Yes, it was a spinoff of Mary Hartman. But he was a
Martin Mull as the host.
Correct.
Barth Gimble, I think was his name.
I think you're right.
That was his name. And then I forget who Fred Willard's guy was. It might have been Fred Willard. It might have been his name.
But it was like Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon.
Yes. And they were
funny.
Crazy funny. Oh, that makes me sad. But I guess he was a pretty old guy. How did he die? Just of being an old guy? Or
yes.
Okay.
But he was a musician.
Or something?
That's how he got his start.
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
So was Steve Martin.
He was like that.
Banjonist. Is that what you call a banjo player? A banjonist?
He got to start as a banjo player.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin did, but Martin Mull was like a songwriter, and he also was a musician. I can't remember what instrument he played.
Tuba.
every cool person does.
Every cool person plays a tuba.
I think my favorite Martin Mull was from Mr. Mom. He was the boss, Terry Garr's boss. And when he comes to the house, and Michael Keaton is all intimidated or threatened by this guy.
Yeah.
So he's just totally over his head. So he comes out with the
220, 221.
The skill saw, the goggles, and that. He goes, "You're rewiring the house. What are you doing today?" He goes, "Oh, you're rewiring it, huh? 220? Yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes." Legendary movie. That was a really not trying very hard movie that was, I thought, very funny. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do?
Radio game.
Yes. Steve, you're familiar with the radio game?
I've listened to it, so I see we have the Sony Walkman over here.
You use your finger quotes when you call that a Walkman. By then, that was invented, the anniversary of the Walkman. I think its 40th anniversary just happened. So in our lifetime...
This one looks 50 years old.
This one is very recent. Edge. This is like a $4 piece of equipment you're talking about you're making fun of.
Come on. That is just some fantastic stuff.
For the unwashed and uninitiated, the radio game is a little thing we do where each person whose voice you hear will name 4 bands, and then we're going to turn on KQRS 92.5 on your FM dial in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. And if one of those bands that was mentioned, of the 12 bands, come on guys, we got to get one right. then we have a winner of the radio game. But usually we don't. And the reigning champion is, and I feel bad for this because I think that episode probably won't be aired, but that doesn't change the fact that my brother Jeff was the most recent winner of the radio game.
He was.
Like 2 weeks after I won. It took me 63 weeks to win it, and I held the title for 2 weeks. So I feel so happy for Jeff. I really do. Way to go. Hey. All right.
How do you want to do this?
Do you have 4 bands? Did you come up
Sure, we'll do Rolling Stones. We'll do David Bowie.
Nice.
Yeah. Tom Petty and Rush.
Wow.
Did you write?
Don't kiss up to him.
Hey, did you write any of these down? Because I'll forget.
There's an album box right below
He
my
is
feet.
a Rush.
I know.
He's just.
I took his band. He's all bummed out.
No, I can't do Rush.
No, he can't say it.
So you went Rush, Bowie,
Petty,
Rolling
Stones. So I took all the good ones.
Stones. Who are the Stones?
They're all over the airwaves.
All right, Mark.
I'm going to do Triumph, Fight the Good Fight.
Well, you don't have to pick the song.
Mine are themed.
Okay.
So Fight the Good Fight.
Yep.
And Ozzy, Flying High Again. So I get Black Sabbath with that. Genesis, Abacab, and then Jefferson's Starship, Find Your Way Back.
Those are probably all songs from 1981.
You're correct.
You are just full of surprises. It's a treat to work with you. It really is. I'm going with Blue Oyster Cult. I have a theme too. Blue Oyster Cult, 38th Special, Golden Earring, and the Jay Giles Band. Those are bands that are cool. Okay. Let that be a lesson to both of you. All right, let's check it out.
It's up and running.
Clapton. Well, Derek and the Dominoes. Clapton guess would have got that one right.
Clapton.
We'll do a second ballot. All right, so Clapton. Boo. Clapton.
Boo. We like Clapton, but we want to win.
Of course.
I don't like Clapton that much.
I like Clapton.
He's in your box.
I thought he was...
He's right down there. You're not going to own that one?
Context. What Clapton album is in there? It must be one of my brothers, because I don't think I've ever put Clapton on.
It's one of his later albums. Can I
just got Lay Down Sally on it?
Can I do Iron or Air Raid and just go under the table for a second?
Yes. Is that what that was? What were we talking about before with the Air Raid thing? Because we thought you were in the Manhattan Project. That's right. Which is a pretty good Rush song. It's not, but it is a Rush song. That's a double album.
Backless. Yeah, that's right.
What's on it?
I can't read this. Walk in the Rain.
That's all we need to know.
What year is that from?
1978.
It looks like it opens up.
Records.
It's got some sweet...
it's got some killer photos. Back when album...
Backless. I think that has one good hit on it.
Album art was a thing.
Right.
Backless. Oh, yeah. It's tough as hell. Walking in the Rain. It's made out of gold.
Is that your brother's or yours?
No, this is not mine.
So, Jim, if you were 15, you could read that, but clearly you and I can't read that now.
Well, no, it's because it's shiny, and the lights are like candle lights down here.
Too much ecstasy in your
This is bad.
Years,
I think some ecstasy might help you read this.
Was that around in the 80s? Early 80s?
It was
around in southern Minnesota.
I think what you're thinking is gasoline. Get that high-test stuff?
No, that was... Model Airplane Glue. That was
yes. Hey, I have a better way to look at the songs on this record. We're going to look at the actual record itself, but don't let that stop me from or stop you from chatting.
Okay.
If you
tonight we're going to talk about
there by morning. Sorry, early in the morning. Promises. That's the hit. Golden Ring. Tulsa Time.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like a standard.
That's a remake, right?
Yeah.
I think that album is a compilation.
Walk Out in the Rain. Watch Out for Lucy. I'll make love to you anytime. Wow. Roll It. Tell Me That You Love Me. I remember there was a song called Watch Out for Goofy on one of the kids' little silly records. Watch out for Goofy. Anybody else? No. No. Was that the Plumbers Convention? Sorry. All right, Mark, take it away.
Okay, tonight we got to get to our topic. Because we always burn through an episode. We never get to our topic.
And what is the topic tonight?
1981 music, because that is the year that Steve graduated from high school.
And Mark should have.
I would, 3 years later, after
Because of library fines.
Merck's the first guy that got held back after being named to the National Honor Society.
That's right. You got to pay those library fines. They're very strict.
You do.
About that. Yeah.
They are very strict about that.
That's a good one. I just caught it. My bad. So, 1981. I was a junior in high school. These two were seniors. It was the 80s is often diminished. How about that?
It was kind of
National Honor Society.
To me, it was kind of the starting of decline of classic rock type of music.
It's true, but there's still some.
There
really
were some
good songs.
but there were some
80s.
crappy ones there.
Yeah, disco and keyboards kind of changed the landscape of the music that we like.
And then there was a bit of a British invasion that occurred in the late 70s.
But I liked some of that stuff.
Like
not
what?
Not like the sex.
Are you talking about
Duran Duran and
I was thinking more
also a sax band. All of these 80s bands had saxophone players. So if you're a saxophone player struggling to put your life back together, email us at the Ascertainers.
What was Anarchy in?
Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols. That was the late 70s, wasn't it? Also?
I almost said the Cars, but they're from like Boston.
They are.
Kraftwerk from Germany.
Kraftwerk.
Computer World.
Wow.
I'm familiar with them.
Wow,
but I don't know if
is...
I've ever heard them. They were the ones with the black and red album, right?
Right, and they walked around like robots.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
How about Devo?
Did they steal that from Devo?
I don't know who stole it from who, but...
Is Devo American?
Mm-hmm.
Devo is a band that is finally, I think, getting its due. But they were never taken seriously.
They're from the Midwest. They're like from Cleveland or something.
Hello, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Really? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know you said the Vapors the last episode because it was...
Turning Japanese.
But that was 1980, I believe.
Yes, it was.
But, so I'm like, God dang, that's such a great song. I listened to some of their songs, and that's definitely still their best song.
Yeah.
It has a lot of that. It's very... like a frenetic beat, very fast and kind of like a synthetic drum, and didn't quite hold it for me.
The 80s were like the highs of the highs were good, and then the lows were
crap.
But they never made it on your mixtape when you were carefully playing the album and recording your mixtape that you trade with your friend.
Did you ever do the mixtape on the off of radio, like early? So you'd always miss the first couple minutes or not minutes, a couple seconds of the song. It's like, oh, I forget to hit the two buttons down at the same time.
I never did that, but I had a person in our class that made tapes for me. Tugger used to do that.
Tugger made tapes. He made
his Tugboat was his name.
His name was Tugboat?
Well, that's his nickname, yeah, Tugboat. We all had nicknames.
That's right.
Are you going to try to throw a nickname like Tugger by me as if it just is
We didn't think of that kind of stuff back then.
I got a buddy named Digger. That's as close as I can come to that. But Tugger, yeah.
We had Buzz, Tugger, Shug.
Shug, that's right.
What was yours?
Well, it was part of my last name, so I can't say
yeah.
it.
What was
Mine's
yours?
part of my last name, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Smith & Wesson over here. So, all right. Mine was part of my last name. My last name with an ER after very creative. And hey, you get back here. That was one. That was a popular one. You stole my girl again. No, okay, too far.
Well, that came up at dinner where Steve was stealing all the girls in high school.
Happened.
Steve.
That never happened, I can assure you.
I'm looking at Steve's face. It seems convincing, but
I'm telling you.
But that's just what a guy who steals girls would look like. So
yeah, he's playing it off like, yeah, never happened.
Did you meet your wife in high school or after?
No, that was college.
Okay.
Yes, after college actually we started. Yes, high
was
school.
it? No.
There was a clean break between high school and college. Those days were gone and off to college.
I agree.
Yes. Did you have a clean break?
Yes. Sort of.
Yeah.
It took a year, but then it was a clean break.
It withered and died.
Mark, I'm not sure if you've ever looked up the definition of clean break, but a year later,
it was
a clean break
Cleanish.
maketh. I did not have a clean break because I think I dated a girl that was still in high school when I was in junior college. Lame. That's very not acceptable.
That's the one you hide from your friends.
Yeah, well, good thing
he had no friends.
I didn't say it on a podcast.
That's right.
I met my wife in college too. Clean break.
That's
junior year. Wouldn't rush into anything, but hey, first junior year. Let me make sure everyone's clear on that. Technically, I only had one junior year, but I had a little extra senior year.
There's no harm in that. No shame, right? You go to college as long as you want.
But it's different now that you went through it 4 years.
Yeah, a little bit more than that.
4.5.
I worked a lot during college. But we've all seen
Animal
Will
House.
Ferrell. What was his?
Oh, in Old School?
Old School.
Or the old Tommy Boy.
Right.
Yeah, usually they call those doctors.
Or Animal House.
Animal House. 8
right.
years of college down the drain.
That's right. Mr. Blutarski.
That came out
0.0.
That was a 70s movie though, right? Yes.
Yeah, it was 70s.
Actually, there were some really great movies.
79 and 80.
How many toga
Caddyshack.
parties did you have in college? Thanks to
Couple.
that movie. Oh, yeah.
My best toga party was at Drake Relays, and the Holiday Inn staff was probably not real thrilled at us
taking the sheets off the bed.
No, we just found the closet where they kept them, or the room where they kept them all, and helped ourselves.
Wow.
We didn't steal any. We would have soiled some, but we didn't.
I did not have any toga parties in college.
Because it wasn't allowed.
It wasn't allowed.
That's right. The punishment was not worth the fun.
No.
Well, that's where you and I will disagree, my friend. Although I did not go to the academy. I went to...
Thank you. Can I have another?
I went to 13th and 14th grade in Rochester at the...
Rochester Community
prestigious RCC, which is now called something way more impressive, but Rochester Vocational and Technical and other stuff college.
Again, we got off 1981 music.
That's right.
Yeah, well, that'll be the next episode because we about cooked this one. You got any more errors and omissions? Because they will matter more on this episode than on the next. And Mark asked me to watch a movie, and I asked him to watch a movie. I did watch Dazed and Confused. And I'll say that I am confused because that movie was really about nothing. That was just a documentation of 24 hours, right?
Dazed and Confused. It's about senior year in high school.
Did you watch it?
No.
You're not familiar?
Who is the actor?
Nobody.
Well, no. A lot of people that you would recognize.
Well, Ben Affleck's in it.
Okay. Ben Affleck, the guy that Cole Hauser, he played Rip on Ozark. I'm not sure if or not Ozark.
Yellowstone.
Okay.
It's Adam Goldberg. Here's what I was going to say about that: is Adam Goldberg?
Oh, he was the
one with a little high twitch.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yes.
When they're stabbing him,
the German guy is the German guy that they let go
right
earlier. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is yesterday once the fireworks started going off, and I actually watched a little something, some kind of thing from the White House. It was kind of good and patriotic. I'm like, you know what? I'm watching Saving Private Ryan, and there's Adam Goldberg again, like 20 years later or whatever. Here's what messed me up about Dazed and Confused. I thought that Good Will Hunting was like the breakout role for Ben Affleck or whatever. Technically it was, but he was an actor before. It wasn't like he was just stumbling around selling newspapers or something. He was in Chasing Amy. He was in Mallrats. He was in a lot of other movies before Good Will Hunting came out and made him famous.
Do you know Matthew McConaughey? All right, all right, all right. Do you know that saying or...
What movie is that from?
Dazed and Confused.
That's where it started.
I did not know. I haven't seen that movie.
It's like
it's a B movie.
It's a small B. Yeah,
B minus,
lowercase b. Movie.
It's a really rainy day movie. You got all your shit done. Your taxes are done for the next couple.
The
of
high
years,
school in the background. Picture our high school.
Seriously.
The brick. It was our senior year.
Okay.
So
now you got me curious.
Yeah.
But I think it's set in the 70s, but it's filmed in like the
1976 is when it takes place.
Okay. But it was filmed in like 87 or released in 87.
Steve brought up some grab bag ideas.
No, 97.
And one of them was Cars.
Right.
And in this one, everyone had like a GTO or something else. And there was like a handful of guys that had those. Not in our class, but the classes prior, they had some nice vehicles.
Actually, I just remember the nicest vehicles were that family, because we're not naming last names in Northeast Minneapolis. And I saw him wreck one at Lake Johanna Beach. He came out of the parking lot.
Oh, the Valiant. And
No, it was a Nova. Oh, it was a Nova. And
do you know who he's talking about?
Yes.
Yes, and massive engine in it. And he got on it out of the parking lot, and it was fishtailing, and it got sideways, and it was rolling along a hill, did about 4 tumbles over. It was fantastic.
Was you wearing a seat? Did you get thrown out? Or
I was sitting on the dock out in Lake Johanna, and we watched the whole thing because you could hear the tires were just smoking. And then the big crash. Unfortunately, I don't know if anyone got hurt, but they were all 3 guys in the car. And
no one got killed.
No one got killed, but that family had a whole collection of just awesome muscle cars. And they were not tender with them.
Do you remember being up at, what is that, the Honeywell thing? Was that the Point?
Yes, the plant.
The plant.
We used to go up there in the winter and drive 70 miles an hour through that parking lot and then do the fishtail.
Do you remember going there and this guy comes flying in, hits a car, and then the car backs out and the other guy's doing a brake stand to kind of hold it?
Yeah.
And then you went up and talked to him, and the guy had carpeting over his instrument panel.
Everything. They were crazy.
Yes, they were.
They would ram their other car, not so they would damage it, but they would. So in coming in the parking lot, they didn't pull alongside, lean back in their chair and say, "Hey, how you doing?" The guy pulled in right up bumper to bumper and just hammered him. And the other guy threw it in reverse and did the same thing back.
And the other guy's standing on his brake. It's just like skidding.
Smoking everywhere. I'm like, who are these guys? I go over there, and you can't see anything on the dashboard. No gauges, nothing, because he's got fuzz, like green carpet.
Covering the
whole dash. The only thing that's not covered is his radio, so he can put the cassette tapes in.
I think he was a stoner.
And I was not approaching him to see if I could buy weed, because I already had my favorite dealer. I just said, no, I just got to see who this guy is.
Statute of limitations on this guy over here. Got any of that stinky weeds, old man?
God.
What do you say?
Let's wrap this one up and we'll do another one.
Okay.
I think that was all. I think I got all of my. We'll part with Griffin because I told him it would be at the end of the podcast. So, hey, Griffin, we shouted you out way earlier from Maury's Mazda. So if you're going to buy a car, gently used or new, call Griffin. Tell him the Ascertainer sent you at Maury's Minnetonka Mazda. Good night.
What we do is tell people we're shouting them out at the end of the podcast to make them listen to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do. He seems like a bright guy. He, I'm sure, screamed right to the end.
Well, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.